Witam wszystkich bardzo serdecznie. Jestem Kark, a to jest Starfield. I tu zażegnaliśmy sytuację kryzysową, czyli rozwaliliśmy te teramorfy, czy jak to się tam nazywa. No i wybieramy się teraz złożyć relację z tego pani prezydent. Pomóc ci? Okej, do windy. Cześć, ochrona.
Thank you.
Ależ proszę. No chodźcie dziewczyny, no co jest?
Whole building's on lockdown.
That's a relief to hear. Thank you, gentlemen. Let your people all know how much we owe them today.
Yes, ma'am.
Ah, there you are. I believe we have some things we should discuss.
Heroes were minted down at that spaceport, and that includes you.
The loss of life, the damage to the
Captain?
spaceport.
Hadrian,
Costs of this attack
it would
greater
appear
than
that the
I can
cabinet owes you our
realize.
thanks for what you did for the city today, as well as an apology. Your concerns about the terramorphs, well, consider them validated.
Thank you, ma'am.
To jest najlepsza odpowiedź.
Of course. I only wish we could have acted sooner. Now, today's events have only clarified our path forward in the eyes of the cabinet. You will have our full support in collecting the terramorph data from the archives, as well as a subsequent investigation into the nature of these attacks. But to accomplish those goals, we're going to need the right people in the right places. As such, the cabinet has authorized me to reinstate you, Hadrian, effective immediately, to your former rank of Major. As soon as we've got the data in hand, we want you investigating these attacks and how to stop them. Will you do this?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. I'd be honored.
Excellent. But as you've both made clear, for such an investigation to succeed first, we're going to need someone to convince the Freestar Collective and House Varun to play ball. Someone who knows precisely the sorts of dangers the colonies and all the galaxy are facing right now. The cabinet wants you, Captain, to be that representative. The cabinet wants progress, and wants it quickly. You're already far more familiar with the situation than any diplomat would be. There's also no diplomat alive that can claim they helped keep a cadre of terramorphs off the embassy doorsteps. The cabinet was unanimous. They want you. We do. In exchange, we're willing to fast-track your citizenship upon collection of the data. So, will you help us? I'm glad to hear it. Now, We, of course, won't be sending you in without the proper support. Deputy McIntyre in the Office of Interstellar Affairs will be your guide on gaining access to the archives. You should be able to find her in her office across the hall. And on behalf of the whole of the United Colonies, you have our thanks. You're dismissed.
Security news as an officer.
I'm gonna go check in with Chief Engineer
Responsibility to call their
Kulkarni.
family.
Start getting a plan together for that data.
Got a lot of calls to make now.
Sara, i co ty na to? Gdzie jesteś, Sara? Wszyscy poszli? Sara! A tu biedaczka stoi w kącie. Chodź, Sara, chodź. Idziemy pogadać tam z jakąś babką.
These orders. A Vanguard captain. You... Yes, sir. I'll make sure they get what they require. That must make you my Vanguard captain. Welcome to Interstellar Affairs. I'm Deputy Chief Diplomat McIntyre, Chief Yassine's second-in-command. I heard you were instrumental in protecting the city from the attack. You have my gratitude. I was also informed that you gave quite the presentation to the cabinet. Chief Yassine wants you to know the Interstellar Affairs Office is fully committed to this endeavor, accessing the Terramorph data and beyond. We're going to do everything in our power to make sure you have the tools you need. And that means first getting you into the archives. You do know what the archives are, correct?
Someone paid attention in current events. So, then you also know that it was originally managed by the 3 major galactic players. Access to the archives is only granted in cases of dire emergency, and requires a one-time use code from each of the 3 armistice signatories. UC, Freestar Collective, and House Varun.
Now, the UC is already on board, so that means we'll need to convince 2 people. The ambassadors of the Freestar Collective and House Varun to hand over their codes. Get them both and you'll have your data. But that's a lot easier said than done. No. Each is a strip of several million random numbers generated on the fly based on biometric keys kept by each of the ambassadors on their person at all times. They're impossible to create without those keys, and those keys stay with the ambassadors, meaning we're accessing nothing if we can't get them on our side. It won't be.
Both ambassadors have reasons they won't, or can't, work with us. Now, I'll provide guidance on how we believe you can acquire each code, but ultimately, it'll be up to you to get them both to cooperate.
And I do mean cooperate. Threats and violence are off the table here. Though that doesn't mean we can't get creative.
But it does mean we need to get you up to speed on who you're dealing with. Who do you want to start with? Ambassador Radcliffe of Freestar, or Ambassador Balmore of House Varun? Ambassador Balmore's a challenge. When the rest of House Varun retreated into seclusion shortly after the signing of the armistice, Balmore stayed here. He's since lent his support to a small number of archival requests, so there's real hope he might again. Though claiming to know how a member of House Varun thinks is a quick way to earn yourself a psych eval.
Well, these days, they're primarily considered a security threat. House Varun Zealots, a fundamentalist outshoot of the group that stayed behind when the rest retreated into seclusion, want nothing more than to send everyone not dedicated to their cause to the great serpent in the sky. But that hasn't always been the case. After they ended the Serpent's Crusade about 70 years back, House Va'ruun did take a real run at trying to normalize relations with the rest of the galaxy. It's why they have an embassy here in the first place, why they were included in the armistice negotiations. But then, without warning, they left, leaving behind, to our knowledge, just the ambassador and his duty under the armistice.
Well said. There's no reason to assume they're any worse than us, despite their cultural beliefs.
Of course. But there is another wrinkle. We're not 100% sure Balmore's actually still alive. His public appearances were always rare, but it's been several years now since he last poked his head out. Scans of the facility show life signs, but not the kind we were expecting.
Your task is to find him and kindly but firmly remind him of his duties under the armistice. Then you search the embassy for his biometric key, collect your code piece, and we'll go about notifying his next of kin, if we can ever find them. But let's hope it doesn't come to that.
The embassy is still legally House Va'ruun's sovereign territory, so we're not technically permitted inside. We've snuck in the occasional spy, of course, but the ambassador has proven more evasive than you'd expect for a man of his age. But we're quite sure he hasn't left the city. The man stands out. The Va'ruun delegation brought more than a few of their native flora with them when they set up in the embassy. It seems those plants have been allowed to flourish, making it hard for us to verify what's flora and what's ambassador. It would at least be a speedier negotiation. But I, of course, hope the ambassador is alive and well.
Now, the embassy front door isn't an option, but our spies have stated there's a side entrance that should allow you access. Here, this device should get you all the way down to the embassy interior. Once you're inside, though, finding the ambassador is going to be up to you. And fair warning, we received a report that alarms might have been tripped inside the embassy during the attacks. Watch out for automated security in there.
Dobra. No nie wiem. Jeszcze z nią gadać.
Captain, would you like to finish your briefing on the ambassadors?
Dobra.
The good Ambassador Ratcliffe. She's a veteran of the Colony War, and her only goal in life is to make ours miserable.
If Sam is any example of how stubborn the Freestar people can be, then I can imagine how difficult it must be dealing with this ambassador.
Now, officially, our office is suggesting you try and negotiate with her.
Use your experiences as a member of the military and with the threat we're facing to convince her to lend her support.
And who knows? Maybe that'll work. Stranger things have happened. But my suspicion is we're going to have to rely on other tools to get her code. Never underestimate the universe's ability to surprise. That's why we have Plan B. UC Intelligence has a recording device planted in the ambassador's living quarters, which we suspect you can use to your advantage.
But getting caught trespassing is a quick way to land yourself in an embassy holding cell.
So, if you are going to try and access the device, you're going to need to find a way in there without being seen.
Now, we recovered some intel we believe should be able to help with that. But there's also a disgruntled staff member you might be able to pump for information. Maybe even convince to work with you.
Name's Cameron Long. He's younger than Ratcliffe, bears less of a grudge towards the UC. He works closely with the ambassador, making him a promising source for information on the ins and outs of embassy life, and someone who very likely hates her guts.
Yes, many. Don't steal anything. Don't get caught anywhere you're not supposed to. Absolutely do not harm anyone. If something goes wrong, we'll do our best to smooth things over, but I can't make any promises.
All right. Here, your diplomatic ID. I'll give them a heads up you're on your way. Not likely to let you through the door otherwise.
And take these. Chief Yassine wanted you to have some options on how to proceed in there.
Now, if you have additional questions or require clearance for a new approach we haven't already discussed, don't hesitate to ask. I'd suggest you start with Ambassador Radcliffe. Approach her while the attack is still fresh in her and her staff's mind. Be smart out there, Captain.
Dobra. No okej. Chodź, Sara.
Howdy.
Tu ci zadanie mamy.
Sergeant Yumi was looking for you. Sounds like he's got more work.
My boss was in
Co, Sara, ciśniemy?
Hard to believe it's been 2 decades since we were at war with the Collective, when it seems like only yesterday.
You our visitor?
Cześć.
You'll find the ambassador in her office. Go on through.
I'm going to be upfront with you. I'm not happy visiting anything related to the Freestar Collective, but you lead, and I'll follow.
No. No nie wiem, spróbujemy. Porozmawiajmy, nie? Nie ma tu jakiegoś pisemka? Coś poprawiającego? O panie, cyfry. Dobra, nie będziemy ich kradli.
Terramorphs? As in more than one? All that security and they still can't protect their own spaceport.
Guests can make themselves comfortable in the lobby.
Just wish we hadn't received news from an SSN broadcast. We'd have a strategic advantage to maintain, Mr. Bond.
Of course. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
Tu szło jakaś przeleść. Kontrabandę tu mamy.
Who's that? This building is Free Star sovereign territory, so in here, we're the law.
Dobrze.
Sounds like it was a real mess down at the spaceport.
Co tu jest? No to dobra, to spróbujmy, nie? Próba numer 1.
I'm sorry. Do you have an appointment? What are you? Ah, you're the one McIntyre called about. The eyewitness. She said you were at the spaceport. You have my thanks for what you did down there, truly. Saved many lives. Now, she also mentioned that, and maybe it was just a bad connection, that now the UC wants terramorph data from the Armistice archives, some of the most highly guarded information in the galaxy, in order to protect us all. I can only presume you're here to tell me I misheard her and that they didn't send you, local hero, to futilely beg on their behalf. Tell me I've got that right.
No to spróbujmy.
Excuse me. A less level-headed person might think that was a threat, Captain.
The only threats you're facing are the 8-legged variety just outside your door. Now can we please stop playing games here? Lives hang in the balance.
A lecture in morality from the UC. How quaint and short-sighted. Let me be frank, Captain. The answer is no. That information is there because it is dangerous. I will not be the one responsible for its release. Now, why don't you quit wasting my time and yours, and go? You're really gonna push this? All right, I will give you one chance. One to convince me. Understood. I'm listening. You know that for sure. That is interesting. You're not wrong. We do need to do something.
Kurde. Jeden braknie. Jak to dum? Kurde, co próbujemy, ale to...
I suppose you're right. Our job and our responsibility. It's possible I might be letting my history cloud my judgment. Possibly. Well, Captain, you make some good points. But if I'm really granting you access, I'm gonna need the following concessions. Your access will be limited. You can only take out the items related to stopping these terramorphs. The monitors will make sure of it. You go in once, you get everything you need on your trip, and never again. And all research done with the data will be monitored. If this data is being used to save the galaxy needs to be involved in the oversight. Freestar scientists will watch your people like hawks. So, do we have an agreement? Excellent. Follow me. It's not supposed to be a long process. It is for emergencies, after all. They tell me it should only take a moment. And there. Code generator's just this way. I suppose we're in this together now.
So, I've given everything we've discussed a lot of thought, and I've decided I'd like Aja Mamasa to conduct our marriage ceremony. You're kidding, right? She was the former chair of Constellation. The one that passed the torch to me about 5 years ago? We've talked about it before. Come on, stay with me. It's important to me that we are both happy. This is a huge step in our relationship, and I want everything to be perfect. So, with that settled, I suppose we just keep it a quiet ceremony? Just the two of us? Honestly, no. I respect everyone at Constellation, but this is part of my personal life. If it's all the same to you, I'd like to keep my personal feelings about us separate from Constellation.
Mhm.
All right, it's settled then. I'll send a message to Aja asking for her to preside over the ceremony. As soon as you're ready, let's head to Paradiso. I can't tell you how much this means to me. I love you.
Chodź, Sara. Ty mój ptaszku.
You're allowed 3 places. Conference room, lobby, or the ambassador's office.
Co ten Yumi chce?
Hey.
I had this graph job.
Dobra, faul. No nie mów, że to trzeba na dworzec.
Can you imagine how many credits flow through this place? Figuratively, of course.
Do kolejki. Mhm. Dobra. Połóż te naboje do tych...
You're only as safe as your equipment out there. Welcome to Outland. We deal in only the finest, most reliable gear for whatever adventures may... All of our products come highly recommended. And while I've never needed them myself, I stand by everything we offer. I've never left the planet, so no, I do not. Please do. I hope we have something that suits you. Get it?
Amunicję, co ty tu masz? Znaczy... No to też skafandru ma dużo. O!
Good luck on all your adventures.
Okej. Dobra, idziemy sympić kod. Nic nie mam. Łopanie. To może trzeba broń wziąć. Co, Sara?
But this isn't what I expected at all. It appears the flora they were using as decor has overgrown the entire embassy.
Dobra, zobaczmy, co tu jest. Dobra.
Well, I've never seen a tree like this before in my entire life. It'd actually be more fascinating if its branches weren't blocking our way. Important or not, I'm ready to listen. We should get a drink sometime.
Może.
Oh, come on. We're playing
Dziwny bajzel. No to dupa. No to dupa. Ten nie. Więc są dwa. Jest ten lub ten. Ten nam dawał taką trójca. Taką trójca. No to dobra.
Ooh, I hope the data on there was worth all of the trouble.
Też. Znowu? I tu mamy tak. Te trzy nie. Te trzy nie. Te też nie. Te też nie. Kurde, kiepsko. To nie, to nie. To nie. To nie. To by się dało. Dobra. Chłopie, coś ty tu wyrabiał.
If you're searching, then make it quick.
To tu jest za scala węża. Wow. Cyfrychy mi wyszły? To jakoś dziwne. Kurde, nie mam cyfrychów. Jak się to stało? Nie ma tu nigdzie cyfrychów. Idź, kurde. Dobra. Nie ma, to nie ma. Co jest, Sara? Strachy na lachy, co?
I'm sure they had something we can use.
Kurde, cyfrychy potrzebuję. Do piwnicy, tak? Dobra, zaraz się udamy do piwnicy. To jakoś kuchnia. A jak się to stało, że ja nie mam tych cyfrychów? Chodź, Sara.
I'm here.
Ach, na kimi tu. Nie chcę. No.
So, what seems punishment becomes providence. A reminder we can never truly know the Great Serpent's designs for us. You have my thanks, and my apologies for the ordeal you just endured. Come, let us discuss.
A masz cyfrychy? Kawa, żarcie. Kurde, że ja tu nie mam ani jednego cyfrycha. Kurde, niezwykle słabo z tymi cyfrychami.
Not the ideal introduction, I suppose, giving you a grand tour of the embassy via barely functioning intercoms. I do greatly appreciate your persistence. I suspect the Venom tree upstairs has worked itself into more systems than I'd realized. But then again, who could cage such a beauty? Eh? Tell me though, what is it like outside? I heard the broadcast mentioning an attack. Then the embassy was struck with a power surge and then... silence. Has the rest of the city suffered quite so badly? Harmless spores, you have my word, but hard to navigate. Hence why I was guiding you through the intercoms to restore the environmental controls. And release me. It is the sap of the tree that gives it its... well, perhaps not a topic for this exact moment. But I must know of the rest of the city. Does it still stand? Is that right, huh? I shall need to have these repairs seen to sooner rather than later. Now, it cannot solely be the Serpent's grace that brought you here at such an opportune moment. You were sent by the UC. That much is obvious. Who else could just waltz through my door, hmm? And the broadcast spoke of terror morphs at the spaceport. A worrying occurrence, certainly, but coming here of all places, when all I could provide is some enthused cheerleading and... an archive code. So the UC requires information, then. On terror morphs, presumably, hmm? Do I see this all clearly? The preservation of life stands as the very purpose of the archives. Using its data to prevent more attacks, there is logic there. But if I am to grant you access, I have a requirement. For years, House Varun has been known only as an agent of slaughter. We founded this embassy with hopes of shedding that legacy, with little success. In exchange for my code, I require this. You must be the one who ensures it is used for good. Ensure House Varun's legacy is more than just carnage. The knowledge you ask for isn't evil. No knowledge is. It is we who bend it to evil ends. Oh, you must assure me this will be used to save lives, not endanger them.
As the chair of Constellation, I take personal responsibility in vouching for this man's integrity. He'll keep his word.
Well then, I shall not fear. Please, follow me. Let's hope it still works. And there. Let it be used for good.
Hey there, sleepyhead. What's the matter? Did I wear you out?
Sara, co za teksty. Okej. Aha. Whoa. Dobra. Wyłazimy stąd. No szkoda, że kurde nie mamy tych cyfrychów. O, cię kręcę, gdzie to było? No i tu. Oj, cara. Węże, dzikie węże. Co tu jest? Łopanie, gdzie tu się włazi? Jakiś taras widokowy tu. Gdzie ty tam łazisz, Sara? Po dachach. Okej, ale to dalszy ciąg już w kolejnym odcinku. A tymczasem dzięki za oglądanie, dzięki, że jesteście. Trzymajcie się i do kolejnego odcinka. Cześć.